There has never been a more important time to move in a vegan direction. Whether you're ready to start, restart, or re-energize your vegan or plant-based practice, this podcast is for you. I'm Michelle Olander, life coach, vegan, ADHD matriarch, travel lover, and smoothie loather. And I know that it's the details that get in the way of your vegan journey. But I like to believe that the obstacle is always the way. So every week we meet here where I translate the tools of life coaching and Stoic philosophy. I bring you actionable tips, some laughs, interesting guests, and vegan ideas for everyone at any age. All to help you veg your best. Episode 204, Make August Count and Count Your Blessings. Hi, my friend, my veg your bestie. I'm a little low energy this morning, recording this at daybreak after what was not exactly a relaxing night, but, well, I counted my blessings about it, so I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what happened last night. Around 3:15 a.m., when my husband and I were fast asleep and our son and his family, which includes a toddler and a baby and 2 dogs, were tucked up in bed, our house alarm went off. I don't think I've ever ranted here on the podcast about my love-hate relationship with alarm systems. And when I say love-hate, I really mean not loving them. Because honestly, all I have had are false alarms. And last night, the alarm went off. And of course, at first I was confused. And then, of course, I just was trying to figure out how to clear the alarm, turn it off. But then, what if it was necessary? And maybe I need to inspect the house. And my husband, who has zero problem sleeping through alarms, but finds me barging around the bedroom annoying, thinks that I'm the problem. Anyway, then I remember to look at the alarm control and I see what it is saying. Fire, 2nd and 3rd floor. Well, our kids are on the 3rd floor. Maybe I shouldn't turn it off, I'm thinking. But then from upstairs, I can hear my son asking if I'm all right, and I tell him to check his floor and the kids. And speaking of kids, I can hear them all starting to wake up and fuss, and now I am really starting to think uncharitable and decidedly unflattering things about our alarm company, who always seem to have some excuse why things aren't working. And all through this, the alarm is just blaring in that pulsing, ear-splitting sound. Now, I do finally turn it off so that I can think. And I look around, and then within a minute or two, the alarm monitoring person calls, as they should, to see if we're okay. And I tell her that I think it's a false alarm and that there must be a bad sensor or something. And I give her our top secret code so she knows it's me and there isn't a masked bad guy holding a machete to my head. And she says, "Okay, have a good evening. I will try and call off the fire department." And then I'm like, oh, try? You're going to try to call off the fire department? So now I can't relax because I'm thinking, what if the minute I get into bed, the fire department will show up? And several minutes later, the fire department arrives. And God forgive me, at first I am super annoyed again, because now I'm going to have to go downstairs and engage with the fire crew who have been dragged out in the middle of the night, and all I want to do is go back to bed. But anyway, I open the door, and the fire chief introduces himself, and he first says, "Are you all right?" So, of course, I tell him I think it was a false alarm and I apologize. And he completely completely calmly, with not even a shred of annoyance in his face, asks if he can hang out for a minute, see if it goes back on, asks me a couple of questions about what sensor I thought it could be, whether it was the CO2 or the smoke detector. He asks me some questions about our alarm panel, what it said. Then he takes a couple of minutes to show me the sensor by the door and what to look for. Where the sensor is green, the sensor that might be bad will have gone to a little red light. And all the time, very calm, very nice. So then the chief looks around, asks me if I feel safe, and he offers to go through the house if I want to, but he understands there are sleeping kids and family. And I said, no, I think we looked around. I'm really sorry. I really think the issue is a bad sensor. And unfortunately, this has happened before, but usually we're able to cancel the alarm before you are all disturbed. And in the middle of the night, the fire chief says to me, no, it's no problem. If you're worried about anything, just call. Otherwise, call your alarm company in the morning and have them check the sensors. So I couldn't believe how I was feeling so apologetic, and I couldn't believe how grateful I was for his demeanor. I thanked him, I closed the door, and honestly, even talking about it right now, I wanted to actually weep with gratitude. Gratitude that there are people out there all the time in my community who just want to come and check on me, who just want to come and check on our house and our family and keep us safe. All the time while I was storming around at 3:15 a.m. being annoyed, the firefighters just got up, got in the truck, and came to my house to see if we were okay. And then they stood there in the dark and helped me decide what to do. And if I had been scared or alone or sick or overwhelmed, they would have come in to check the house for me. And you know, that is as good an illustration of the power of our thoughts as I can offer you today. You know, sometimes I hear people poo-poo and dismiss the whole idea of staying intentional about our thoughts and creating a kind of mental hygiene of cleaning up our thoughts regularly, daily, even multiple times per day, to notice where our thoughts are spinning in an unhelpful or a way that's causing us unnecessary negativity. But when the alarm went off, I had thoughts that were focused and scared because my thought was, there are babies in this house. I don't know what's happening to make this alarm go off. Now, a few minutes later, my thought was, I hate my alarm company and the cheap sensors that go bad all the time and cause all this disruption, and the kids are never going to get back to sleep now, and my poor daughter-in-law and son are going to have a horrible day tomorrow, and they're heading back to Florida in a few days, and this is going to ruin the weekend. How's that for a thought? And then, a few minutes later, after that thought was, the fire truck's here. I'm an idiot for making these guys come out here in the middle of the night. What if I had just shut that alarm off faster? They're going to be so annoyed with me. And then, after letting them in, and thanks to experiencing the calm and kindness and concern of the chief, my thought was, this is so beautiful. I have a home, I have a family, and we're able to have a system that's there to protect us, even if it isn't perfect. And there's a whole team of firefighters and police who are there, and all they want is to be there for us, even in the middle of the night when there's a mistake. Our thoughts are so powerful. Your thoughts are so powerful. Your thoughts change your experience of the world. And when your thoughts change, your experience in the world changes. And it's why I think we have such an obligation to our fellow humans, and certainly the young people we are raising, or even just the young people who see us day to day. It's our obligation to offer each other powerful, positive, respectful thoughts. Because we all find ourselves now and again running around with our hair metaphorically on fire in this world. We all find ourselves spinning when things go wrong, or we're scared, or something unexpected happens and we just don't know what to do. We are all dealing with things. We're dealing with things all the time. And what if in the middle of it, once in a while, someone walked up to you when you were in a full-on state and asked, like the fire chief last night asked me, "Hi, we're here now. Are you okay? Can I help?" Well, don't worry, this happens. Here's my advice. Call me if you need us. What if instead of spurring each other on or arguing with each other or diminishing what someone's going through, we just showed up for one another? You know, I grew up with the phrase, though, count your blessings. And it is, I think, brilliant advice, necessary advice. And it often seems to get thrown at us by well-meaning people when we are in the middle of a rant or a meltdown or a cleanup in aisle 5. The fire chief who arrived last night didn't come and lecture me or tell me how lucky I am. He came to calmly, professionally look me in the eye, see if I was okay, offer his help and support, and told me to check back in if I was worried. Now that kind of holding space allowed me to feel, as I closed the door and watched him go back to his truck at 3:20 in the morning, it allowed me to feel an absolute wave of gratitude and appreciation. And at the same time, I was just filled with the most tremendous concern and compassion for so many people out there who just don't get to experience people checking in on them, who don't get the experience of dedicated professionals keeping them safe, keeping their children and their grandchildren and their homes safe. So, not to be a downer, because I'm really not a downer. But right now there are millions and millions of people around this world who do not have that. And there are billions and billions of our fellow earthlings, animals in industrial animal agricultural systems who just never experience a single day of autonomy and sunshine or kindness or compassion. So in the middle of everything you have going on, kids, in the middle of it all, the people you care for, the work you do, the bills and taxes you're paying, the community service you provide, I know, I get it, you have a lot going on. And I know you don't have all the support you could use either. But this week, as we're going into August 2024, just a couple days, I wonder if you might join me in trying to keep open an extra synapse, a tiny extra bit of awareness as you go about your week. A little extra awareness of the blessings you do have, and pass at least some of those on as you see fit. But maybe at least by showing up and holding space without criticism for someone who's having a bad night or a tough moment. Maybe you offer a hug or a smile, or you share in a cry, or you scribble out a text or an email, or what in the world, maybe a handwritten note sent through the postal service of thanks or appreciation to someone. Maybe you join me this week with a tiny bit of extra focus on what it is you can do to opt out of all kinds of systems of cruelty or pollution, or the industrial animal agricultural system where billions of cows and pigs and chickens never ever have a nice day. I know that we can be overwhelmed. I know in the moment we can think, oh my God, what difference does it make? I'm just trying to get through things here. There's so much wrong. This is so much bigger than me. I know. But I really think the worst thing we could do as a human being is not do something kind, not do something good or thoughtful just because it doesn't seem to be enough. You know, one of my favorite quotes is always, "A society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they shall never sit." And it's not just trees we need, is it? There are all sorts of blessings you can plant in the minds of the people who run into you today. Blessings you can plant in the hearts of people who love you, and even in the people who don't really dig you that much. There are actions. There are things you can say, there are things you can do in the world today that may not fully come to fruition in your lifetime. But I think it's never been more important to show up as who you actually want to be. When people see that, did you know that it gives them the permission they need to try it themselves? It gives others the permission they actually need to think, maybe it's possible. Maybe it's possible to step out of the urgent day-to-day laundry list of my life once in a while and try believing in the person I sometimes think I could be. Okay. Thank you, my Veg Your Bestie, and thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the first responders, all the firefighters and police and EMTs. Thank you to all the folks on call in the middle of the night and the families who watch those first responders leave in the middle of the night and then worry about them. There's a lot of people out there who don't get the appreciation that they deserve. Okay. All right. It's August. It's August in a couple of days. Get out there. Make it count by counting your blessings. And in the meantime, veg your best. Veg Your Best podcast production, music, and editing by Charlie Weinshank. Thanks, Charlie. Before you go, it would mean so much to me and the Veg Your Best team if you would hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, or share with someone you think might be interested. Something about algorithms, it helps bump us up a little in the rankings, and that's the best way to help others find the podcast and for us to find our audience. So, until next week, make it easy and veg your best.